the best grand finals Age of Empires 4 may have ever seen. The score tells it all. We go the full distance to decide this. Will it be Marine Lord returning to peak form as De Champion? Or is Louis MT ready to prove that that one German LAN was no fluke? We head into Frisian Marshes to decide it all. In the EDC Masters Summer's $30,000 S-tier tournament, Louis MT with an opportunity to lock in his first ever S-tier title. A humongous flex for the Chinese region, but actually for Asia as a whole. Finally, they could have someone to look towards, to don the mantle after the departure of Lennox a long time ago. Or will it just be the tale as old as Age of Empires itself, with EU domination? Marine Lord, he takes to the battlefield with the Abbasids, a pick that has not been seen in this series so far. Louis MT on the other side with the French has already lost with this Civ, and he already lost doing this exact type of opening. It is going to be a Dark Age spear play. And my, oh my, is it going to pay? We're going to do 2x speed, just the Dark Age, but it's going to catch Marine Lord doing the dead obvious. He goes for the dock drop and immediately has to walk away, so won't be going beyond the first pond. Has got the House of Wisdom coming in, but is nowhere near ready for a tech up. He's going to have to rush out into the gold because the Spearman can now block that. Great read. It means Marine Lord should be able to gather enough gold before this is truly problematic. Especially considering the second Spearman didn't come to the gold. Yeah, and also, got to be careful. LUMT slightly diving under the TC. But that was a great reaction. We've seen plenty of players pull maybe 3 to 4 and just lose because of this. This was optimally done. Gets enough people out into the gold to guarantee they'll have his resource gain. Now the question on everyone's mind, you like Eco Wing? I do like villages. Especially Abbasid villages. It's mainly the screams. Jeez, that got dark. I am wondering if he's going to be looking to Eco Wing and play a long game. Now, Trade Wing used to be incredibly viable in this map for Abbasids, but the changes make it quite difficult. Yeah, like with the changes with the trade now being in the center, it's a little bit harder. Like, it's actually diagonal trade, which is higher value, but it's more exposed than it used to be. And the other thing is, like, before, you could argue with the camel change, like, the Abbasid traders were a bit better against French knights because you debuff a lot of their damage. But now, since the changes where you're trading to the center of the map, a big part of the design philosophy on this change to Frisian Marshes is that the previous version, really, you could only like easily counter trade with cavalry. Now you can trade out into it with infantry because it's much shorter distance to reach. It also is much harder to wall in to secure. So melee wings are actually going to be the choice. Marine Lord doesn't opt for the greed. I like this. You know, you can still try to get an eco advantage on a delay coming back for the docks, but you're probably going to get pressured here by like French, right? Like Knight Archer opening could make a lot of sense, but by going military wing, it maybe makes it a little bit discredited for Louis to play that way. We'll stick on the 2x speed just for the moment as the tech ups come in. School of Cavalry on the way for Louis. And it is going to be 11 sheep to the 15. So Marine Lord getting a bigger slice of the pie. Yeah, part of that is exacerbated by the fact that he did go for fishing. Fishing they will likely return to. It looks bad that he lost the dock, but remember, the docks only cost 75 wood. So it's actually not that big of a pain in the ass. Winner should have 2 points over opponent to win. It's not as cool as you think. So never-ending games is cool in some formats, but like in others, it can be really bad. So for example, like, you know, Apex Legends with this match point system, like those type of games, like actually you never know when it's going to end is kind of cool. And a 1v1 though, it can get kind of ridiculous, I think. That's like I don't know. When people think back to Red Bull Wololo El Reinado and the back-to-back series between the Canadians, like I wonder if people enjoyed it as much. Because one thing we noticed, you guys remember back then, it became less of a battle of like perfect execution and more of an attritional battle of like stamina. And I've talked about how like I prefer games that are about making the least mistakes versus playing perfect. But like the way it played out, I still remember that series. Like you could just tell that the players were tired. Like, there were things slipping through there that, like, you would never see out of Poppy Paw and Wham in, like, the early games, ever. And it just, like, it does create kind of a bad look, you know? It's kind of the idea of if you had so many rounds in boxing that both the players look like they're just going to fall over, right? They can't even throw a punch anymore. I think that's the concern you have if you have, like, this never-ending series idea where the only way someone can win is if they get 2 games ahead. What was interesting is the, like, proposition of having mercy rules in some esports. Some, I think, still use it. Where, like, if you get, for example, I think FIFA has this, right? Where if you're 4 goals ahead, then the game can just, like, end. Can just get called. So we've settled in. Dogs are coming through for Louis now. Which makes sense. He saw the military wing. He showed the respect. Like, you don't really want to fight directly in this army when they have, like, 10%, 15% more health, right? With the boot camp. Especially when you open spears, because you're inherently slowing down your night timing. Yeah, also, the other thing I'd say about overtime is, like, the idea of overtime in that form probably makes more sense in games where they have a, like, fixed time interval, theoretically, that should be hit. Like, for example, Counter-Strike. Like, you could have infinite rounds. I think they fixed that more recently anyway. But the thing about, like, Age of Empires 4, and same with games like Dota 2, is, like, technically, they never end. Like, technically, we could have a game of AoE 4 that is 5 hours long. It's probably not going to happen, but it could. So the idea of having, like, a system where you have to get 2 games ahead really becomes flawed with that. Do you see where I'm going? Like, the broadcast length, like, it's cool to have very long days, but there's only so much consumption people really want in one day anyway. Also, you know at some point that Taco is going to catch up with one of the players, and they're going to need a long, long Vindaloo break. You know what I mean? Vindaloo or, like, a Taco break. And that's where it's going to be like, oops. So it sounds almost comical, but there's a reason why, yeah, you don't want, in, like, you know, best of 17s. Food, bio breaks, sleep. Rumor stock 9-day game. Yeah, it's like, okay, so, like, the rumor stock thing was interesting. So would you want to see that regularly, though? I think the merit in it is the fact that it happened once. I think if that happened again, less than half the people would be interested the second time around. It was uniquely appealing and actually, like, catapulted. If you guys don't know about Rumor Stock, it was a game that lasted several days long on AoE 2. It wasn't even a comp game, it was just a ladder game. But, like, the thing that made that appealing is you'd never seen it before. But if you saw that a few times, you get bored. It's a little bit of cat and mouse here. Louis MT chasing in, but Rainlord has gone pretty heavy-handed in the spears, as you'd expect against French. The thing is, Louis MT, like, read it perfectly. Like, Marine Lord, he's kind of stuck heavy in the spears, while Louis has gone mass archers. There's barely any knight representation at all. The Iron Bladder wins? Nah, see, this is the thing. If we ever done best of 17s, someone should hire me as their coach, because I can give you the best advice ever. Do you know what the best advice ever is if you're in a best of 17, a best of 36, or 37, whatever it's going to be? Catheter bag. It's time. Embrace it. You know? Colostomy bags. Adult diapers. Like, these are the life hacks you need if you really want to win. ML misread? He kind of has to misread, though. If he doesn't blob spears, then it could just be knights. Like, the problem from Reload is he's not actually scouting the enemy. Reload now with the switch into Horseman. I actually quite like this. You could try to mirror archers. It's not the worst of ideas to go towards Castle Age gradually with just massing archers. But if you now mass archers, your opponent masses knights. If you mass horsemen, yes, your opponent can mass knights, but, like, the horsemen can avoid the bad fight. They're still a decent body blocker to protect your squishiness. And they also are a unit that can raid. So, like, the idea from Rainlord here is to be able to potentially send these guys in and do eco damage. Which is going to be important. Although he's scaling a worker lead off of the fishing boats temporarily, remember that Louis is playing French. He will always end up with more villagers if you don't kill any. In fact, he's already 5 ahead. Use a coffee jar? Yeah, but if you're using a coffee jar, like, what are you going to drink afterwards? What the hell's wrong with you? And so much fishing as well from Marine Lord. 13 fishing boats in total. Lasts a while. You get free per pond, and you can usually set it up so you don't grief yourself with the dock placements, which is done. For Louis, I think like the pace at which you get the advantage is kind of slow, right? So like if Louis realizes that, he can just look to directly attack, which is what he's trying. It's an awkward map to do it on, guys. The thing about Frisian you have to remember is it's a very, very defensive map. The weakness long-term is gold. Like, gold is the thing that forces you out of the corner, but everything else is good. You know, you get a lot of sheep at the start. You have a good tree line. Use the secondary tree line is very safe as well, and you can use those trees to get food anyway. So, like, the one thing that usually kills players from camping in the corner is gold. Yeah, dude, I think you guys have been watching too much Dune. I hope you're at least using the bodysuits to filter the whiz first before you caffeinate it, you know? But if I filter it, it'll take out the grains of caffeine that remain in the urine. No, stop. Just stop. Just buy a water suit, please. Urine hygiene. Marine Lord. The horsemen are now getting the lay of the land. His army is staying at home. He's actually playing this correctly. But Louis MT, you know, he's already got enough knights to just mirror the play. While Marine Lord is getting key information, I'm curious to see what he wants to really do with it. Because massing spears and archers here, like, it's not bad for the idea of composite bows, but your opponent also has very strong power now to go into, like, knight massing with Royal Institute play. Sure, his archers will lose that fight, but like knights are very good at chunking up royal bloodlines into a bastard spear wars. Yeah, no phalanx yet, but that's usually because it will come down the line when he's ready to fight. We have got Golden Age 2 coming in. For bastards, it doesn't really change much. Yeah, honestly, it's like a bastard's age, like Golden Age 2 is probably the most underwhelming thing they have. 15% research speed. Ooh. And yeah, wasn't this game at like, I want to say 10 p.m. UK time? So for Louis, he just got that fresh morning wake-up feeling, you know what I mean? He's ready to go. I do wonder, by the way, I think they had a small break halfway through this series. Louis does this all the time. So Louis, you know, he'll begin a series looking a little bit weaker. And, you know, although he kept it even, he always came from behind. But twice over now, he's been having the lead. Twice over. And I imagine there was a break halfway through, and then this started to happen. It's almost like Louis goes and pours himself a cup of coffee, and just comes back with superpowers activated. And that is going to be a supercharged Castle Age. Royal Institute on the way. Phalanx reaction. Marine Lord has not started a tech up yet. He cannot get the camel straight away, so no debuff. He'll have to add in like additional camels. One camel archer is not going to feel great against 50 archers. I wonder if he just takes Eco Wing and plays even deeper. Isn't Louis a child? Dude, he's like 21 or 23. Like, all right, Boomer. I know you're like 60, but chill. He's 22. He's not that young. Like, what are you going to say? Is he allowed to go to the prom on his own? He's 22. Chill. Is he allowed to open a bank account? If he wasn't, I'd get to keep a lot more money from KPMN instead of just paying everything out. Like wallet right now. I sent several $1,000s of prize pool earnings yesterday. Even though, like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I knew it was coming. It still hurts. Louis waiting for veterancy, by the way. Like, Marine Lord is just trying to punish him for aging first. He has got Culture Wing now coming, but the pursuit... I mean, it could be that Louis, he does have a scout with the army. That's the key thing in the Stealth Forest. You don't want to be running headfirst into Spear Wall. Yeah, we'll be able to break away, but Culture is still a minute 20 out. This is the thing about the map, though. It's very hard to now dive this back eco line, even with the age up. Louis, I mean, 13 Knights is good, but Royal Bloodlines is still... Oh, look at that. It's going to come in the moment Castle completes, which is kind of a disgusting timing, actually. Especially the way he's leaning. Louis is going to start to circle around towards the gold. Marine Lord, the fishing, is it getting thin now? 500 left here. 500 left here. Yeah, so it's not going to last more than probably like 8 or 9 more minutes. And there's also not much wood left in the corner either. 66 archers now. Louis stopped studying his university to play AoE4, so this final means a lot more for him. Well, yeah, but like, you know, Marine Lord is fighting early onset, like, whatever, a list of different causes. He's an old man, so, you know, like, it means a lot to him, too. Marine Lord is fighting against early onset incontinence from old age. They both have a lot on the line here. Archers are going to be an edge here for Louis MT. The veterancy's already in. Dive comes through. You can see the tech up as clear as day. The Knights are trying to bait forward the Spearmen. Even if they don't, the Archers are going to trade out nicely here. Marine Lord does have numerical advantage. There's no denying who has the quality. Phalanx is going a long way, mind you. The Spears, the double wave is actually both connecting. Villagers are going to be on the front line, though. Like, this is awkward. Marine Lord, he's losing workers. This is a lot more than that at this rate. Archers are just running this through, but it looks like Marine Lord is going to be able to hold on firm. Archer count healthy enough. Louis MT, the second wave of archers took forever. In fact, I think maybe he kept some at home. I'm so confused. It feels like the count doesn't make sense here. Knights are still going to clean up a decent chunk of this. And worker kill count was actually kept quite low after all. So credit to Marine Lord. He can't really afford worker losses here considering the fishing is very baiting when you look at the eco count in total. Still, these Knights, oh my god. Like, can you kill them? They are actually getting more value than I expected. At the end of that fight, there was only 6 or 7 Knights left over, and you're like, well, okay, he's held. But even though you got the veterancy on archers, there's already ranged armor 2 in. These are Royal Bloodline Knights as well. They don't die easy. Camel debuff is going to be big, though. Well played there. Marine Lord with the foresight to prep a Camel Rider. That should now debuff the damage enough that he can shut this down. Louis MT is going to have to reset. He does have a worker lead, but guys, it is not substantial. And he has a problem here. This was the Royal Institute play. This was the big go. And it did not break Marine Lord. No. If you want to do that, you have to now shut down the fishing. Because then it will have broken him. It's going to be 57 villagers to 71 if he now starts to deny these docks. I mean, Louis, he definitely done some damage to that. And, like, this is the organic scaling of French with their TC anyway. Love the wall as well. Because, like, the most logical thing from Marine Lord after taking that fight is now I have archers, I push. Resonation of Knowledge is going to be on the way. Marine Lord now looking for relics, but Louis MT has already started moving towards them sooner. Very weird relic spawn as well. Louis got a super safe one, whereas Marine Lord's first one is basically on the front line. Yeah, very odd. Then again, I guess it balances out with the weirdness of these two relics also. Very important that Marine Lord won that fight, by the way. He couldn't keep hunkering down the base because of this. Double gold forward spawn, as it always is on Frisian these days, necessitates that you actually reclaim the front of your base fast. Yo, could you guys imagine if Louis was secretly 45? You've all just been catfished. He looks so young, but he's not. Like, each morning when he wakes up, he just puts an entire tub of, like, moisturizer on his face. Looks in the mirror. And in Chinese says, it puts the moisturizer on or it gets the hose. And I'm all for it as well, by the way. Not the moisturizer hose. The youthful gamers. I think, like, actually, young gamers is exactly the big problem that RTSs have. Is like, it's become a boomer esport. It's become a boomer game. Like, how do you get the new generation of people in? I think that's something that's promising with AoE4. I mean, StarCraft had this as well, right? They had that very big Cinderella story coming through of the young player from China, Oliveira, who I think retired after winning, right? But, like, that felt like a rarity for them. Whereas I'd say, you know, here, I feel like we're seeing more and more youth come in. They're still having to fight up against the old guard, which Marine Lord most definitely is in his 30s. But then you got, like, you know, Vortex, Dumu, Beastie, Lucifer. Like, these are all 30-plus gamers. Compared to Rocket League, if you're above 30, you're dead. No, if you're above 30 and you're in a Rocket League arena and you sit down a PC, they expect to hear all your bones crack, and like they're worried that when you have to do like a trip, flip, reset, your thumb is just going to actually break. Whereas like Age of Empires 4, the average age of the esports scene, I want to say is still like high, maybe like 31, but it's coming down a bit, which is cool to see. And what else is coming down is the villager count from Marine Lord. Ah, the death cries of Abbasid villagers. Nothing quite gets you full up on the morning, ready to charge on into battle like that. 67 to 81 villagers now. Not just that. He's gone for the fish, but he's leveraging mostly workers. Yeah, so that means big accelerant. Louis MT is going to munch through that very fast. Even on the boars, which, haha, you picked Abbasis, you could not. AO4 is a game for unks. Are you trying to suggest that none of us can get laid and have our own kids, so it's not a game for dads, it's a game for uncles? How dare you? That is only like 85% true. Archers. With composite bows, this is a good fight for Marine Lord. Louis MT, I'm a little bit surprised he took the direct clash. He's now going to commit the knights in. The spear count is still looking really good for Marine Lord. 20 spearmen remaining. It's going to force the retreat. Louis MT has to get the hell out of dodge. Still, things that are going well for Louis. Marine Lord may have won that fight, but like militarily, reblobbing is going to get harder and harder. I do wonder why Louis took that fight in particular. Could he have just waited? Because the thing is, like, Marine Lord struggles to approach. If he comes towards your base, the knights go in to his. All of a sudden, not many knights left alive. Marine Lord now has an opportunity to just start diving into your base. Yo, you guys ever realize that, I was just thinking about this because I saw the comment about, like, you know, hitting peak in grade 5. You know how people try to learn, like, how to play games by watching the pros and whatever? You're like, wow, I'm going to try that too. How epic. You ever think about, like, how comical it is when you consider... when you consider trying to watch an RTS pro to become good at the game, and your first instinct is, okay, I just need to, like, I'm going to drag my face across the keyboard to achieve that APM. Right? I'm going to be like what? Control 1 and then Control 2. And then like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, we go like this. We go. Okay, I'm simplifying, but like there is an interesting part of like, I think with RTS as compared to watching the POVs of most other games, to learn from a pro, I think is a lot harder in an RTS than in other games. Does that make sense? Like, someone can have crazy aim in an FPS and it can be unrelatable, but like there's still an anchored like viewing experience the most. Whereas, you know, when you, I think we talked about this for some players before, where like they're very easy to watch a stream of because they barely move the camera. Whereas, you know, for most top level RTS, especially StarCraft 2 comes to mind, like the APM expectations, the higher POV, oh my god. I dread to think like how hard that must be to follow for someone who's never watched an RTS before. Marine Lord, you're wondering why he's not going to the base? He's just trying to steer towards the food. Louis doesn't really have a farm transition going. And Marine Lord realizes what we said. If he goes in the enemy base, the knights can still go into his. So he's just looking to strip eco and force Louis back in the corner, which is a win. Let's see if he's able to. Numbers still favor him. notches are going to be sacked. And there you go. Someone's saying that like they prefer casts over watching POVs because of it. It's interesting is like a lot of people will watch POVs in AoE 4. Like, how did Donati not become the biggest streamer in Age of Empires 4 with his 60 APM challenge? Instead, people watching the guys with 200 APM. Good lord. Let's see if Marine Lord's magical APM fingers can do what he needs here. A little bit start step back. He's got crossbows in the formation now. Should keep the knights at bay. But the military count doesn't look good. No, Louis is gap closing fast. And remember, these are premium knights. Marine Lord's starting to lack in the spear department also. He has got farms finally coming in a flood. Louis is mirroring the play, though. And reminder, these are not better farms. This was not an eco-wing build, so he does not have the cheap tech. He does not have the increased gathering tech. Yeah, so for Marine Lord to feel really good about this, what he actually needs is Imperial. Really like POV because it shows mouse movement and you can see buildings and unit cards. I think that's pretty unrelatable, though. Like, your mouse movement is definitely not going to be the same, right? And also, you can actually, like, I'm going to give you guys a tip. Because, like, Crackly struggles with this as well. Like, you always can't see the pip upgrades. All the info you were talking about is up here. You can see how many units are being produced. It's just less chaotic with the way it's stored in Capture Age. And Marine Lord has started to get thinned a bit. I'm worried that Louis is starting to pull ahead here. I mean, you see it in the raw eco lead. We warned about this due to the fishing. But the bigger problem is the quality of knights and how they're going to keep scaling. Yeah, he does need to find more food, but gold is comfortable. Louis MT doing a good job of just hunkering Marine Lord down the location to just try and strip spears and crossbows alike. It's so difficult to do, but like he can't let the knights go too far back. He sometimes has to absorb the crossbow shots. Otherwise, composite bow archers win the engagement. Look at how tight they are now. Less than 10 military difference between them. Where they're looking, where they're focusing. I mean, that's something that honestly just needs to be added to Capture Age, I think. There's two things that are missing from Capture Age, which I hate. It's like you should be able to see player POV camera on like as a toggleable option on the minimap. And also there needs to be shared fog of war. Like StarCraft 2 has had this for years and it's so good. So shared fog of war is like where you can see both players. So that we'd see these two type of POVs. It's incredible for the viewing experience. Really wish we had it. What an incredible game so far. I mean, it hasn't been this big wipe, go again, big wipe, go again, really. There was that ridiculous fight from Louis that it looked like it put it behind, but Marine Lord, when we thought we'd be able to capitalize on it, Louis somehow has scraped his way back. Just really smart calculation, understanding that, you know, even though that was a bit of a desperation play, his opponent still had a limited runway on his economy. That's why Louis is able to remax like this. 20 knights being maintained. Camel's going to get sniped straight away. Spearman overexposed. Marine Lord fast losing ground here as we approach the 30-minute mark. Double Sacred Sight now also locked in for Louis. He has 4,000 gold. I mean, he might not have a guild hall, but you have kind of a mini guild hall effect at this rate of just buying the food. What's crazy to me is Marine Lord like should have better food income than Louis by now, right? 40 farms versus what, probably 25? 26. Yeah, but it's the difference in timing. Like, Louis definitely have to add in a lot more farms soon as he's running out fast. But that's where the gold comes in clutch. Buy food to pad yourself or buy wood. Instead, it's just going to rush more people into the tree line. Almost 2,000 wood income now. Who's going to take this? How did it even get to this, man? You know what's crazy is, like, Louis hasn't really been competing hard long, right? I think it's been less than 2 years. And yet, here he is, consistently making grand finals. Consistently either taking it from the best or taking them down to the line. That's the baffling part. Marine Lord, does he feel on the ropes here? I mean, the Bastards is an interesting civ for scaling, but you're still talking about French with Arbitriers and Knights in Imperial Age, if they have the gold for it. So can't really feel that safe. I mean, upside is there's no guild hall, so like hyper late game from Marine Lord isn't incredibly scary to the same degree. It's not infinite. Challenge is like how he gets there though. Like his food income is shrinking. Oh my god, the knight. Oh my god, yeah, the idle time force. Okay, so big gaps there. Louis starting to manipulate the fact that Marine Lord is allergic to walls. Not the ice cream. The walls. Like, even Louis actually hasn't built many walls. A reformed player, it seems, or just misleading us this entire time. And what the hell has happened here? Louis has just been trading out knights to build his archer ball. Against composite bows, this is kind of wild, but also genius. Yeah, 33% increased attack speed is great, but when you're over doubled on archer count, good luck leveraging it. Military lead is now starting to blow. Louis with a 20 milli lead. And he's not going to rush this. I respect that. He's going Sacred Site, so Stone Gathering underway. He's already got the castle drop, which is given a discount. And now you can set up another castle over here. He's almost got enough for a third castle. Oh my god, a Marine Lord. I don't even know if he's going to see this coming. I mean, Louis could even contemplate teching at this rate. I imagine he at least gets the castle down, but after that, like, you've got 4,500 gold. You can afford everything. And Louis, he's ready to pull the trigger. I said about a cast drop here. How about something even bigger and harder to bring down? It's going to be the Red Palace to spill the Frenchman's blood. And what is happening here? Of all the ways you could take down the chimp, you do it with what has been considered for a long time his signature civ. Louis MT, who, what, 10, 15 minutes ago looked like he threw away his military lead in a questionable clash, has clawed his way back to full control. A man who is playing Archer Mass into one of the best Archer Massing castle civs in the game now looks to steer further into the lead. Red Palace with the 37. Marine Lord, he went into Mangoes, but the problem is, does he know about the Red Palace? He sees it. Issue is it's 37 villages. You cannot contest this. And we talked about Louis not full walling. It's now changing. We've got keep drops as well. He's locking in the 8Ks. Marine Lord is going to mirror the tech up, but guys, gold might become problematic here. He has at least got 7,000 down here. But Louis is trying to turn this into a gold staff game. So if the Sacred Site win condition fails him, he has a backup plan. And on to the central tree line. Louis understands the way this is carving up. It's all about who can acquire more of the other players' resources now. Louis MT. Knights are going to start idling the gold, which is good because Marine Lord, he's teching, but he does not have much gold in reserve. He has multiple components he would like to upgrade here. Idle time goes a long way. That was a cool idea. Marine Lord, instead of like over-investing in something to chase the knights, he just went 1 or 2 lancers. As there's only been a trickle in, right? Louis hasn't been punting away the full force. You guys wonder how did Louis pull this back? Because he just kept dragging Marine Lord into fights where the knights weren't dying quick enough. Even though it was 20 crossbows, it felt like Louis was sacrificing knights to scale archers, which is freaking genius. Like, it's so crazy that he made this work against composite bow archers. You would think a French player would value knights above all. But what he'd done with Royal Bloodlines is treated them as a tank. As you quite rightly should, but he'd done it into mass crossbows. And every time he was losing 1 or 2 knights, but he was gaining 5, 6, 7 archer lead. Get to this combination, to this point. Still a 20 archer lead. Incendiaries is already on the way. Tech up complete. Marine Lord will immediately queue up the elite techs, but does not have Incendiary on the way. So congrats, golf clappers. You caught up once, but you're about to fall behind again. Composite bows plus the boot camp will be enough for his archers to contest. The lack of extra DPS is going to hurt him against the knights, though. And the timer is also hurting Marine Lord's chances here. Eco Wing means agriculture, so we're about to see a big food surge. The weird part to me is how much he's, like, you know, resisting going into anything armored. Like, would Marine Lord not benefit from Lancers? I guess the issue is, like, you can't go Lancers when there's so little time left on the sacred sites. On a stalemate on his 8k. Cannon's already sieging into Marine Lord. Castle's almost down. He's not even trying to keep it up here. Remember, Louis doesn't need an outright win. He just needs a draw. A draw gets him the win. The time is ticking down. Castle now on fire. French archers with the seemingly advantage situation right now. There's elite French knights. They already have their university tech, remember, courtesy the uni build with Royal Institute in age 3. And Marine Lord, this is looking brutal right now. He's stuck on the spot. He can't approach the Red Palace. 3 minutes away from the first S-tier victory for Louis MT. First LAN he ever attended, wins. And then following up, the first S-tier win. What a year this would turn into for Louis. And you can taste it. It's palpable at this stage. Archer count, over double for Louis. Knight still drawing fire. Keep was kept sustained. But Marine Lord has lost control of the engagement. The archers, they just outnumber him too much. He doesn't have the ranged firepower to push out anymore. He's stuck in his base. And he's never going to see the light of the sacred sites. And GG comes in. Louis MT. He gets it. He does it. His first ever S-tier victory. And all of a sudden, what a year this is turning into, folks. This is turning into an incredible year. Age of Empires 4's best, in fact. We now have 3 S-tier events. 3 different champions. We heard it from Marine Lord and Beastie earlier this year. You know, we're entering a phase where you just don't really know who to expect. It's not just these 3. Vortex nibbling the heels again. Lucifron, Anatan. There's so many names that are up for that top 3. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Let me know who you think is going to be thrusting in the next S-tier tournament, which isn't too far off. And I'll catch you all in the next chapter.